So as I say, the Democrat media complex, they created this and they are liars and they will maintain the lie. Just because Kyle Rittenhouse is acquitted today, as he should have been legally and morally, does not mean that these bastards won't continue to lie to you and lie about you and lie about the country and lie about the state of play. Now, earlier, I said that Joe Biden had come out and he had said that he didn't watch the trial, and so he really had no opinion, and the jury had done its job. And that's what Joe Biden said. Now he's released his statement. It's amazing. The man can't do anything right for more than 22 seconds before Ron Klain steers him wrong again. He just released a statement. Did our not all there president, quote, while the verdict in Kenosha will leave many Americans feeling angry and concerned, myself included, we must acknowledge that the jury has spoken. Why are you angry and concerned? Was it because you slandered Kyle Rittenhouse as a white supremacist in your campaign ad? Are you angry and concerned because he might sue your ass for defamation, as you probably should? Why are you angry and concerned, sir? What do you know about this trial that we don't? They are liars, and they will rewrite history to make the lie stick. This is why they keep trotting out Michael Brown as though he was an innocent, or Jacob Blake as though he was an innocent. Because all that matters is the narrative. They will continue to lie and lie and lie. Do not pay attention to them. Get better news sources and tell all your friends to do the same. Here, let me just give you this. Here's Yahoo News' description. This is post-acquittal. Okay, post-acquittal. Here was their description of what happened to Rittenhouse. Quote, Rittenhouse was 17 when he carried an AR-style semi-automatic rifle on the streets of Kenosha during a turbulent protest against racial injustice in the summer of 2020 and opened fire on demonstrators, killing Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber and seriously wounding Gage Grosskreutz. Okay, that is the least accurate description of what happened I have ever seen. According to Yahoo News, after the trial, after the video, after drone footage, after witness testimony, after physical evidence, after that, their description of this was not Kyle Rittenhouse went to Kenosha in the middle of riots to defend private property. He was accosted by a convicted child molester and chased. He turned around and shot that man when he lunged for the gun. Then he was chased by a mob who was trying to kill him, and he shot 2 other people, killing 1. That would be an accurate depiction of what happened. According to Yahoo News, he just arrived during a turbulent protest and then opened fire on demonstrators, just randomly spraying them with bullets, apparently. These liars, they are liars. They lied to you. And if this were you, they would lie about you because they don't care how many eggs they have to break in order to make the omelet. They do not care. If you are an obstacle to their utopian vision of what America should be like, they will break you. They will destroy you. They would have gladly sent a 17-year-old kid to prison for the rest of his life for an act of self-defense. And they are weeping today because Kyle Rittenhouse isn't going to spend the rest of his life behind bars for a crime he never committed and didn't commit on video. Here was CNN today decrying the legal process. Oh, well, the problem with the legal process, says CNN, is that, really the law is just favorable to the defendant.
The law in Wisconsin is very favorable to a defendant claiming self-defense. The prosecution has to affirmatively disprove self-defense beyond a reasonable doubt. If the jury went back there and had some reasonable doubt, then they were to return a not guilty verdict. And that, it appears, is what they've done.
Well, the law of by the way, can I explain something? The law of self-defense is a key element of every legal regime ever in human history. If there's a legal regime, it includes the law of self-defense. That is the only law that mattered here. This is not because the law was favorable to the defense. It's because the defendant didn't commit a crime. They all know this, but they're going to lie. They're going to pretend that he got off on a technicality. He did not get off on a technicality, Kyle Rittenhouse. He got off because he never should have been indicted in the first place, and only because the prosecutor is a despicable, lying hack was this ever brought. By the way, this speaks to a broader fact, which is that Republicans, conservatives, freedom-minded people need to start electing DAs who aren't outgrowths of a progressive legal thinking system that believes that you should indict people for no reason so long as they fit the check marks that you need for your narrative. And it wasn't just that guy on CNN. You got Bob Bianchi, former head prosecutor for New Jersey, Morris County, New Jersey, on CNN, saying, innocence, well, yeah, it's a mistaken belief.
It's not about narratives. It's unfortunate that narratives is a tail wagging the dog here. It's the facts that came out during the course of the case that showed that those narratives were in large part completely inaccurate. And so this jury did its job by looking at the facts, taking its time, deliberating over the evidence. And even though it may have been a mistaken belief, they believe Kyle Rittenhouse, under those circumstances, felt Not only death, but great bodily harm. A lot of people are missing that.
Mistaken belief? Where's the mistaken belief coming from? He's doing well until he gets to mistaken belief. Okay, this isn't the worst of the worst. Okay, this is not even close to the worst of the worst. You got MSNBC, all of their guests doing the same thing. Eugene Robinson says this is a vindication of vigilantism. Weird, because what it seems like more is a vindication of the fact that if a child molester tries to grab your gun, you can shoot him. Or the vindication of the fact that if a man approaches you with a pistol to shoot you, you're allowed to shoot him in the bicep. Or the fact that if somebody tries to smack you in the face with a skateboard repeatedly, you can shoot him. That doesn't sound super a lot like vigilantism.
So there are unique things about this case. What concerns me, though, is that the result will be seen as a vindication of vigilantism, of what Kyle Rittenhouse was doing, the larger context of what he was doing, during these demonstrations over the shooting of Jacob Blake.
You got Ben Rhodes doing the same routine, the former hack writer turned foreign policy advisor. He says, quote, a very dark message sent to all the other heavily armed would-be vigilantes out there. Oh, it's about vigilantism now. Well, you know what? For most of them, it's about race. They're still trying to turn this into a race case. Every person Kyle Rittenhouse shot was white. Kyle Rittenhouse is white. There are no black people involved in this case. Period. None. It does not matter. You know what's trending on Twitter today? Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was trending on Twitter. This case does not include a single black human. Not one. It does not matter. It has to fit the narrative. Which is why you have, for example, Celeste Ng, who's the writer of Little Fires Everywhere, tweeting out, so basically it's cool to just have an AR-15 and go out and hunt black people as long as you're white. The people he shot weren't even black. What are you talking about? Doesn't matter. Stephen King, quote, so the white guy goes free? Is that the message? No, the message is that the white guy can defend himself just like anybody else. Okay, you have Nicole Hannah-Jones. Remember, Nicole Hannah-Jones is seen as a real intellectual by the left. I don't know what to make of that. I honestly don't know whether that means that the left is just so unbelievably stupid, like with the brain power of an earthworm, that to them she looks brilliant, or they're just patronizing her by pretending that she's smart. Because Nicole Hannah-Jones has never said a true thing as far as I'm aware. It was just last week when she claimed that we dropped the A-bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki because of the sunk cost fallacy. Because we wanted to prove that we'd spent our money wisely on the Manhattan Project. I mean, she's a complete fool from beginning to end. So here's what this complete fool had to tweet, quote, in this country, you can even kill white people and get away with it if those white people are fighting for black lives. This is the legacy of 1619. So just to get this straight, a white man shooting a white child molester and a white criminal and a white person trying to kill him is the legacy of 1619. Weird take by Nicole Hannah-Jones. By the way, she then followed up that tweet by suggesting that he crossed state lines with a gun, which he didn't even do. Because she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. Because she doesn't care what she's talking about. Because the facts do not matter. They don't matter. Here's Joy Reid, the bloviating bag of stupid over on MSNBC. Quote, we knew, but it's sometimes helpful to remind ourselves how America was designed to work. It continues to work as designed. We have learned again what is considered legal for some people to do in America. It's helpful to know where you stand in your country. Be safe out there. Self-defense is legal for everyone, Joy. For everyone. But she says only some people will be acquitted under these circumstances. Weird, because at the beginning of October, the city of Chicago literally refused to prosecute a case in which two members of gangs were shooting at each other. One person died and two suspects were wounded. And the city of Chicago was like, we're not even going to prosecute them. Everyone involved was a person of color. Okay, like, I don't know what the hell she's talking about or what she thinks she's talking about, but this passes for wisdom in left-wing circles. She also put out a blog post, not the old blog post where she ripped on gay people, a new blog post. It says, Kyle Rittenhouse trial was designed to protect white conservatives who kill. Nailed it. Meanwhile, Letitia James, who wants to run for governor of New York after kneecapping Andrew Cuomo, she tweeted out, this is a dark day for our justice system. As a lawyer, I respect jury verdicts, but this is yet another reminder that our system needs to be uprooted and reformed. So you don't respect jury verdicts. You just want to destroy the system. These folks they're rewriting history. And I promise you, 3 years from now, the left will still be saying that Kyle Rittenhouse was a white supremacist murderer. They will still be citing the name of Joseph Rosenbaum as some sort of martyr to the cause of black lives. Even though he's the only person in the entire situation who did anything that had to do with race By the way, what did he have to do with race? That night he shouted the N-word. But he was the guy defending black lives. Cori Bush, the liar who suggested that when she was marching in Ferguson, Missouri, white people were camped out on a hill nearby shooting at her, which is a complete lie, fabrication, made up, top to bottom. She tweeted out, the judge, the jury, the defendant. It's white supremacy in action. This system isn't built to hold white supremacists accountable. It's why black and brown folks are brutalized and put in cages while white supremacist murderers walk free. I'm hurt. I'm angry. I'm heartbroken. Amazing. The narrative demands that this be about the subjugation of black people. There are no black people involved. So they'll just ignore that and just go right for it anyway. It's incredible. By the way, I hope Kyle Rittenhouse sues these jackasses into the ground. I hope that he Covington Catholics these people into bankruptcy. I hope that Kyle Rittenhouse has a house made of money when all this is over. I hope that Kyle Rittenhouse is sitting atop a pile of cash because of these people. Just because they are liars and they deserve it. Bill de Blasio, the commie groundhog murderer from New York, he tweeted out, Anthony Huber and Joseph Rosenbaum are victims. They should be alive today. They're victims, you see. Anthony Huber, who was convicted of assaulting his brother and mother, and Joseph Rosenbaum, convicted child molester, both of whom attempted to murder a 17-year-old. They're victims, according to Mayor Bill de Blasio. That's not a surprise. He is kind of friendly with some terrorist groups. He says they should be alive today. The only reason they're not is because a violent, dangerous man chose to take a gun across state lines and start shooting people. To call this a miscarriage of justice is an understatement. It's a lie. It's all entirely a lie, and they know it's a lie, and they don't care. This is the part that's so mind-boggling. Just, if you're a moral human being, you should care at least a little about the truth of particular fact patterns. They don't care at all. It's not like we don't have video of this stuff. We have video of Kyle Rittenhouse that night, before any of the shootings take place, explaining why he was there. This is clip 22. Here's Kyle Rittenhouse that night explaining why he was there. Does this sound like a young man who is looking to murder people? Does this sound like a young man who is looking to come to Kenosha and just start strafing people with bullets?
So people are getting injured, and our job is to protect this business, and part of my job is to also help people. If there's somebody hurt, I'm running into harm's way. That's why I have my rifle, because I need to protect myself, obviously. But I also have my med kit. We're protecting from the citizens, and I just got pepper sprayed by a person in the crowd.
So you had non-lethal, but you didn't respond.
We don't have non-lethal.
So you guys are full on ready to defend the property.
Yes, we are. Now, if I can ask, can you guys step back? Medical, EMS right here. I'm an EMT.
Okay, and then at the end of the video, he's called off to do some medical help for one of the people who's rioting. Sounds like a guy who's just out there to murder people. Adriano Espaillat, who's a representative from New York, congressman, he said, Kyle Rittenhouse is living proof that white tears can still forestall justice. A murderer is once again walking free today. Our system is terribly broken. Why? Because Kyle Rittenhouse cried. He had the temerity to cry in court. White tears. So they're just reading from the hymnal of Robin DiAngelo. White tears are bad because white tears elicit emotional responses in white juries. And this is just another example of black people being subjugated. You know the pretzels they have to twist themselves in to stick their heads this far up their own asses? Honest to God, Joe Biden and other Democrats who think like he does about these particular issues, I have to wonder why they even had to perform a colonoscopy. Couldn't Joe Biden just see in there? Apparently, all the Democrats can. Gavin Newsom, the androgynous human Ken doll, governor of California, he tweeted, America today, you can break the law, carry around weapons built for a military, shoot and kill people, and get away with it. That's the message we've just sent to armed vigilantes across the nation. Is it, though? Is that the message that we sent? Because the message that you guys kept sending is that riots were good. Property destruction was good. Hell, attempting to murder a 17-year-old was good. All of that was good. That made you a hero. It made you a person worthy of emulation and defense. They are rewriting reality in real time. And if you're not mad about it, you got to get mad about it. It's important to be mad about it. It's important because you need to tell everyone you know that these people are liars and they cannot be trusted. Because if they lie about this, they lie about everything. And they do. We're in a battle for the culture and for our values. Like and subscribe to help keep our videos on the front line of the fight and top of your feed.